And welcome to Iron Dinos. We're here with another Dinocast. We forgot last month. It's basically what happened, isn't it? I think we just forgot to do one last month.
Pretty much, yeah. It was kind of like getting used to after like Christmas and New Year, and then it was like, oh yeah, the Dinocast. Oh crap. Oh well.
Because we weren't going to do the one. We weren't going to do the one right at New Year, because we did the big New Year special, but then we did one then, so it's kind of worked out to what you would have got. Just we cocked up a little bit. But anyway, I'm here with Adam. The other voice you can hear is Adam.
Hey.
So I suppose the first thing we need to do is go through the recent games with gold. So for this month we had For the King and Guts and Goals. Now that we're a bit removed from the video, have you got any thoughts or feelings about those?
Pretty much what I said, really. For the King, I quite enjoyed. I've gone back to it actually once. So it survived the Xbox delete, if that's anything to go by. So it's still on the Xbox, so that's a good thing. And then Guts and Goals is hanging on by its fingernails purely because I want to give it one more try. And we'll see.
Gone from mine. That. For the King is still on there. I do intend to go back for the King, and I've got to be honest. I do intend to ask. I do intend to ask Adam if he wants to play some more of that with me, because I enjoyed a lot more as a 2-player.
Yes.
But yeah, so that I've still got, and then we go back to January's, which were Iris Fall and Autonauts. So the second one in the month so far this year have been like a catastrophic miss for me. Like, I have not found much of anything of value in either of them. But the first one of the month, both have been like not something I'd pay for necessarily, but have definitely been good. Like, I've gone back to Iris Fall a couple of times to do a little bit more and a little bit more. I've not beaten it because I have other things to play, but I have gone back to it, and I will go back to. Do intend to go back to For the King. So,
yeah, I'm the same. I've got Iris Fall still on my Xbox, so I do plan on going back to it. I went back to it once, and I enjoyed it still. So yeah, I do plan on going back. Good game. You enjoy that. If you guys haven't got it, definitely get it.
Absolutely. But Adam, I'll let you lead this. What have you been playing since the new year?
Okay, so
almost 2 months. A lot of time for gaming.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't have house renovations and a job and wife and kids, but you know.
Yeah, you know. No, I do put aside some time. For Christmas, I got Halo Infinite. And,
cool.
Yeah. Now,
you don't sound very impressed.
Well, I'm very OCD when it comes to games. So, the previous Halo 5, is still in its wrapper in the drawer. I've yet to crack it out and play it. Now, I would normally have to play that first before I play Halo Infinite. It's just what I'm like with games. I like to do things in order.
However, it is intended as an ongoing story as well. So
yes, exactly. But John, if for the long members, John is a dino, or was a dino, still is a dino, sometimes comes back. You heard him at the New Year. Yeah.
Some of you did.
Yeah. Go watch it. It's a good that
was a lot of bloody work.
Yeah. So he convinced me to crack it out and give it a go in a multiplayer with him, and it got me hooked. It got me hooked straight back into the series, and it's a lovely game. It reminds me of Halo 3, which I thoroughly enjoyed, But this, yeah, it's fantastic. The storyline is really good. I love how it's obviously on one of the rings, but this part of the ring is kind of destroyed. So it's like you can't just go across from piece of land to piece of land. There's like it's all broken up, so you got to make your way across and through the story. And there's loads of collectibles as always in Halo games. I've yet to play online, see what that's like. But yeah, other than that, it's a fantastic game. Do you plan on going back to Halo?
Do you know
I know
what?
you did play for a bit.
I am exactly in the same position as you. For what? Like,
Okay.
I play games primarily for the story. Oh, that's not really fair. Something like Halo, I'm going to be wanting to play predominantly for the story over anything else, because
Yes.
while I do think Halo's combat is amongst the better of the genre, it's still not enough. It's not. The term now is boomer shooters, right?
Yeah.
Which is the
Yeah.
shooters. Like, that's kind of the stuff I grew up. I grew up with that, and then like I diverged violently to playing Halo on one thing on my console, and I'd be playing Deus Ex on my PC, which is perhaps still to this day one of my favourite games. So
Yeah.
I expect a level of, and Halo has brought me to expect a level of story and depth of world that that will see me through the game, because without it I'm probably going to lose interest pretty quickly. And I loved Halo 4. Like, I do not understand, like, that got so much complaints for its story and everything like that. I thought its story was the best of the Halo series so far. I know it was absolute well, maybe 2, but it was 10 out of 10 for the story. I absolutely loved it. I loved the way the new enemies were worked in, and they all built off the. I loved the idea that basically it's so old school. It's stripping so much back. It's doing the thing that Halo has never, or it's doing the thing that Halo rarely does. Like, you're trapped. It's like going back to the first one almost, but even less so, because you can't escape, and that's sci-fi. That's a lot of sci-fi. Is always these people in this thing. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what they're gonna find. They have to keep going because otherwise they'll die. And all of that. And you had a slowly going mad Cortana, and you had like the flashes to that Doctor, and did she make Master Chief John 3-4 just John something and then 3 numbers, or and she created Cortana, and how much are they fused, and all of this awesome kind of transhuman like subplot in there as well, because you then had I want to call him the Promethean, and I think that's from Mass Effect, but like he's from the race before and everything like that, and like some of his DNA gets into Master Chief. It's like, this is just fucking glorious sci-fi, and I'm having the best time. So when 5 came out, the only thing I kept hearing was that the story was bad. And I would rather leave a franchise. I'd rather leave a franchise that's not one of my primary franchises on a massive high than, which, to be fair, I felt Halo had been going down for a long time, so I was so impressed with 4. I'd rather leave it on that high than carry on to something not very good, and that's why I didn't play 5. And I did have a look to try and find, more sci-fi people talking about it, to see if, because I will forever hate the Halo fan base for the fact that the second game gave us the Arbiter to play as, and it gave us the dual wielding weapons and all of this cool, different stuff, and the fans hated it. and they changed it for the third one because fucking morons just want their bang bang explosions. And we could have had an all-time great well, not an all-time great sci-fi story, but we could have had such a great sci-fi story. And the third one was just putting everything back in its little box. Oh, great, the flood's coming back. I think Halo 2 ended with the Flood King, the big, Audrey.
Okay, yeah.
Audrey 3. Looking like having a moral discussion with Cortana. Like, that could have led into the Flood maybe gaining a level of sentience and stuff like. You could have had all these interesting things. The third one's like, no. That big brute guy, like, he's really bad, and that's all the Covenant are bad again. And yeah, the big flood monster is just a monster who's trying to kill everyone. So just kill everything, and that'll be fine. And that sucked all the joy out of Halo for me. And then with 4, it all came back, and I was so happy that I didn't want that to happen again. I said a lot to get round to that point, but it's a point worth making.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel Halo has sort of gone back to its roots a little bit because, you get that in Halo Infinite in that storyline as well. Basically, you're trying to find out what happened with Cortana, and these like big brutes and this like new evil boss that I haven't seen before, and you're given a new Cortana, not called Cortana either, and she doesn't know. I won't spoil it, but she doesn't know something huge about the relationship between her and the old Cortana.
Right.
So, yeah, you're trying to unravel all that and still save humanity. Basically, it opens with the Chief dying.
Oh, Mass Effect 2 again.
Yeah, he basically gets chucked out to space and floats there.
Exactly what happened in Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, basically. And then this guy in one of these ships picks him up, finds him, and then you find out all about his background as well in the story. And everybody thinks the Chief is dead, so when he comes back, it's, oh my god, the Chief's still alive. Basically, humanity were on their knees at that point. Of course. And then you go into it, so I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, it's really good how it unravels. Love getting back to all the like riding all the warthogs and the banshees, and it's brilliant. I've only done it on normal. I'm going to kick it up a level and do it on hard. See how much I've improved or disimproved over the years. Who knows? But yeah, love the game. If you're a fan, definitely get it. It's even if you're not a fan. But I feel it's kind of a game you can sort of go into on its own almost, really. Like, it gives you a fair amount of background there, so yeah, you can pretty much go into Halo in this game, really. So, I think that's one of the reasons why my OCD didn't really kick in like with it. Like, I reluctantly turned it on, and then I just got hooked. So, yeah.
It sounds like it's a fresh story as well. Like, so it's not then dependent on you playing the last entrant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's got the link with Cortana going bad.
But that happened in 4.
Nutty. Yeah, exactly. So, but that they give you the background of that. So, and that's almost some of the background you're trying to find out, because it's weird, even though you're trying to unlock everything that happened, it's stuff that's already happened, if that makes sense. So it's stuff that's already happened, and then as you get there, new stuff happens, and it's really good, really clever. And yeah, as I say, the gameplay is how I remember it. Like the controls are really smooth, and the fighting, and I got back here all into my old dodging left and right and shooting at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, all that came back, flooding back, and it was a bit of a nostalgia trip as well. It was like, oh, this is great. I love this. Speaking of nostalgia, the next game I've been playing is Age of Empires 2, the definitive edition. Now, yeah, this is actually an old game.
Certainly is.
Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition actually came out 26th of January 2021. Now, it is, of course, entirely based upon the Age of Empires 2 that was released 30th of September 1999. Holy crap. Yeah, that makes me really old. This was the very first game I ever played on PC. I got my very first laptop, and my friend Jason convinced me to get Age of Empires 2, and that is all we played for years, like years and years and years. It's if you don't know what it is a real-time strategy video game, and you can play as many different civilizations, like the Celts, the Byzantines, stretching all like there's loads, too many to name. And yeah, they all have their own unique abilities, and so they all have their own unique weaknesses as well. So playing as each civilization gives you a new challenge, and then you can play through the storyline, the campaign mode, which it's not hugely long, but it gives you a basic background of the game, so I always recommend to do that first. But then you can go into basically sandbox games, and you can just set up your own parameters, and you can just either play against the computer or you can play against your friends. And yeah, it's the last civilization standing, basically. And I've been playing that and getting lost in nostalgia. It is exactly how I remember it, even down to the sounds that the little characters make, and yeah, everything. It's just like brought it all flooding back. It's absolutely fantastic. And watch this space. There will be a video. I am currently in the process of making a video for it. So
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today is the plan.
Yes. Yeah. So look out for that. Do you remember playing this one, dude?
I don't play real-time strategy games.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't have the mind for it. I kind of... you can put me in an FPS battlefield and I'll be able to take scope of the whole thing and plan my moves and everything like that. Chuck me into Doom with a room full of ultra hard bosses and stuff like that, and I'll be able to make my way through it. You put me on a battlefield and say start building shit, and eventually you're going to have to fight these other guys, and I just cannot get my head around it.
Right.
It's all like I said. I just don't have I just don't have that kind of mind. Also, it doesn't help that I am terminally impatient.
Yeah, you just want to get there. Yeah. I get that.
When do we get to the fireworks factory? I want to start the war.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to build this stuff up. I want to just have it.
We've already got 4 walls. Why do we need more? I want to build a tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, one of the strangest gaming experiences I ever had, and I think this is, I think it's a cult classic now, but I think quite fairly got relatively middling scores at the time, but it was a game called Brutal Legend, with Jack Black,
yeah.
and it's by I can't remember his name, the legendary guy behind Dave the Tentacle and Psychonauts and all these wonderful things.
Okay, yeah.
And it is a hack and slash, slightly Metroidvania-y, driving sim kind of thing, where what you're trying to do is unlock all of these classic 80s through early 2000s, I believe they are, metal songs. Probably a few 70s ones in there, to become the god of metal. But all of the main boss fights, it suddenly becomes an RTS. And that was the point. I always got very, very stuck.
Right, yeah.
I did beat that game, and it is wonderful and very, very silly. But yeah, just suddenly the boss fights would just turn into an RTS, and it was really hard. But that is the only RTS I've played for any significant amount of time. I guess in my early gaming, I used to play them. This is how I learned I wasn't very good. Age of Empires was probably a bit... Age of Empires 2 was probably about the time I was playing them, maybe a bit later. But the perfect way of putting it is when I played Black and White, the first one of them.
Okay.
And I played that game 6 times until I believe it was Island 3, and maybe 4, and I could not figure out how it was even possible to win that. And I kept restarting the game, like I'd then leave it 6 months and restart it again, and I kept getting to the same point. And I'm like that with every RTS. I will play it and play it and play it, and I will get to a point, and I just will not, I just do not have the mind to figure out the puzzle of what you're supposed to do to be able to win. And then I lose all interest and go do something else.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
I really wanted to play XCOM. I tried so hard with XCOM.
Okay.
But no, it's a different kind of RTS. You
you
have your guys and you move them so many spaces per turn, and you can attack and stuff like that. It's also turn-based. It's more like a board game, I guess. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, but this, as I say, this was the very first game I ever played, and there was one thing I always loved to do, and I used to set the map up that I was starting on the smallest island with like a small tiny forest, and that was it. And so basically to make it really hard for myself, and I'd have to go out and find gold and stone, and based on that tiny little island, and it's just great. It's absolutely great. Plus the new one has got 3 new campaigns and 4 new civilizations to play as well. So that's really cool. Looking forward to get my hands on them. But other than that, though, I'm still playing Raft. Still doing that. Me and John are still building up our cruise liner. That's quite fun. I think we've done the 2nd mission in the storyline now, so that's good. Phasmophobia, I still want to go back to. I played it once, I believe, last time we spoke. I played it again, and again absolutely crap myself. I'm not. This is the frustrating thing. I'm not a huge fan of horror. Like, there's very few horror films I'll actually sit through, because basically I don't like being scared. That is me. But when it comes to video game, for some reason it's exciting to me. I don't know why, and so I've convinced my wife to actually play it with me. So I'll have to set that up and see how we get along. But other than that is me. What about you, dude?
Oh, I've been playing a great many wonderful things. Um, I think by the last Dinocast, I'd pretty much finished Kirby in the Forgotten Land. But to anyone who
Okay.
didn't hear me talking about that, that game is a freaking delight. Um, just yeah, I love a bit of Kirby, and it's challenges just right. It's pretty easy for the most part, although it does get a
Yes.
lot tougher by the end. But they've added like these extra challenges and stuff if you want to really if you want to really test yourself, like things like taking the boss in under like 2 minutes or so, a ridiculously small amount of time, doing it without getting hit, which I've managed to on all but one boss. Little stuff like that, so you can really ramp up the difficulty for yourself if you want.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it gave me probably so far the greatest piece of joy of any video game I've played this year. So the big bad guy, the big bad guy you're fighting is this kind of lion dude, right? And
Okay.
he's it's Kirby. It's got this ridiculous plot of a cosmic abomination. It's always been a thing of Kirby. It's so cutesy and so sweet and so innocent, and then the bosses are just these horrors beyond imagination. So this time, you're kind of like it's yeah, kind of this lion guy is behind everything. And you go and you fight him, and then you realise, of course, there's a cosmic abomination. Of course, there is. But you beat the game, and then it basically acts like it's going to have some DLC, but it doesn't. It immediately opens that up, and it's another portal, and it's remixed much harder versions of previous levels. And you go through
Okay.
all of this, and you fight this lion boss again, and he's been corrupted by the actual big bad. But just before you have to take that on for the final time,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this about Kirby, but Kirby does a little dance. And he's done a little
I
dance.
didn't know that, no.
It may not be from the first game, but it's certainly from the second one. The music only goes doodle doodle doodle, and he kind of bounces around and he spins around. And he does this little dance, he ends with his little hand in the air, and he's done that in all of the games, and it's freaking adorable. And you're like sitting watching. Kirby beats this big giant boss and it stands looming over him. And Kirby's doing this stupid little dance in front of him. And by the end of the bit of music, the line's just kind of bopping along. And it is the cutest thing I've seen all year. Bear in mind, I've not yet got to watch season 5 of Agretzko, which just appeared on Netflix.
Oh.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's final season. It's one of my favourite anime shows of all time. That's wonderful. But we'll talk about that next month when I've watched it. But yeah, so when I'd finished that, I wanted something quick and easy to beat. Or not quick and easy,
Yes.
but I wanted something shorter to beat. So I finally got around to playing Axiom Verge, which is
Yes.
a retro style Metroidvania with some of the best music I've ever heard in a video game. I just bought the soundtrack whilst I
Thought
was
you might.
playing it, and I would only listen to the first like 6 or 7 tracks because that's as far as I'd got in the game, and I didn't want any of the track titles to spoil things coming up for me. But yeah, my god, the music, because that whole game is done by one person.
Oh, wow.
Wrote it, programmed
Okay.
it, designed it, did the music, did everything. I am in awe of the amount of talent it made to make Axiom Verge.
Wow, I tip my hat.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. But it's an unbelievable game. It's so good. My only slight criticism is I don't think the I think what he was trying to balance in the writing of the main character was a sense of a sense of awe, wonder, and also what the hell is happening, while also keeping him quite down to earth and real. And I don't think that voice really works, and it definitely doesn't work for the big reveal and the ending.
Okay.
But that's genuinely a teeny tiny minor gripe for what is a 10 out of 10 game. I was having just the absolute best time with it. Figuring out its mysteries and having to look at one of the two more oblique puzzles at the end, because Jesus, that secret room in the bottom left-hand corner, you know what you've done. If you've played it, you know what that is. Like, that's ludicrous. But yeah, it was a wonderful, just incredible game. Really, really, really just can't speak highly enough about that.
Nice.
Yeah, in my off time, in my downtime, I've been playing GoldenEye 007. Because,
very nice.
I'm now 2/3 of the way through the GoldenEye bit.
Okay,
and then obviously there's the retro older movie bits after that. But I'm doing it all on 007 as per the video I put out. The difficulty curve is quite brutal at points and then goes back to normal and then shoots back up again. I'd forgotten how all over the place that was in terms of difficulty. But
I've been doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I'm having a wonderful. So when I've got a couple of hours here and there, and it's just a couple of hours, it's like, okay, well, I'll do some GoldenEye, because I'll either maybe do one level if it's a really hard one, or I'll do a couple, maybe two, and get into another hard one if I get lucky.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been really enjoying that. I've played 3 little things which I've made videos for, which will be coming over the next, probably month or two.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna slot them in as and when. But if you've seen it on there, do go play Hi-Fi Rush. I absolutely adored that game. It's a rhythm action hack and slash. So you're running around and you're having to attack things, but you can only attack on the beat. It's really super cool. And I was kind of like,
okay.
I was really liking it, but I wasn't sure I was going to keep on with it after the video.
Yeah.
I kind of went to end the video after 25 minutes. I played for another 25 minutes, got to a boss. I'm like, oh, I'm going to beat the hell out of this game. I'm having the absolute best of times. Yeah, and the other thing I've been playing on my 3DS, I finally got round to Metroid Samus Returns, which I finally 100%ed on Sunday. And that's a wonderful game. It's a remake of the Game Boy Metroid 2. It's made by the guys, the developers who made Metroid Dread did Samus Returns first, and they used the same engine and a lot of the same design decisions to make Dread, which is even better. So that was wonderful. It's always a good time getting some new Metroid.
Yeah.
So I believe there's now only Other M to play. I think that's the only Metroid game I've not played now, which I will at some point,
nice.
but that's way down on the list of stuff to do. Is there anything else I've been playing? I think that's about it.
Oh, very nice. Lots of stuff for the listeners to get their teeth into there.
Yeah, that's everything I've been playing. Adam, have you been watching much, though?
Yeah, quite a bit. So, I treated myself just after January. I think it was last year. I watched the new MacGyver series all the way through, and it whetted my appetite to go back to the original series. And when I looked to like start watching it, it's quite expensive to just watch like one season and stuff like that. And so I thought, So I had a look, and I managed to pick the whole box set up for 30 quid. And I was like,
Nice.
excellent, which is really cheap because it's normally, I think it's normally like $49.99 or something like that. It's not like a collector's edition or anything, but it's in a decent little box, and I've got all the discs. So yeah, I've been going back to the old 1985 MacGyver TV series with Richard Dean Anderson, and there's something I did not realise about MacGyver, and that's one of the executive producers is Henry Winkler. Fonzie.
Oh wow!
I did not realise that. I was like, oh, because when I watched the first episode and like the credits come up, and it's just like, hey, that's Fonzie. I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. So yeah, I've been watching that, and my wife doesn't normally like to watch old 80s stuff, but even she's watching it, so it has to be good. So yeah, I'm getting my teeth into that. Did you ever watch the MacGyver series?
No.
No, you didn't.
No. All I ever know about MacGyver is that long running joke on The Simpsons that Marge's sisters, Patty and Selma, are obsessed with that show, and Sideshow Bob once tried to use it to kill Selma. Yes. I think he married. Yeah, that's all I know about MacGyver.
Yeah, it's just all the little gadgets and inventions he makes along the way to try and solve these missions, and there is a little bit I do know about the TV series. They did try and base it upon actual science, all this stuff. Sometimes I had to stretch it a bit to make the series, but it was based upon it, so much so that, do you remember Mythbusters?
I'm aware of it.
That?
No.
Yeah, so on Mythbusters, they basically, as the name says, covered loads of different myths, and to test if they were real or not, or if they worked and stuff. Well, they tested a load of MacGyver myths, of all the stuff that he used to make. So I can't remember what season that is, but if you type it into your Google, it'll probably pop up. So if you're into MacGyver and you want to find out if this stuff actually works, pop across to Mythbusters. They shall let you know. But yeah, so I'm watching that. I think I'm on the second season so far. But with when all the kids have gone to bed, me and my wife, we've picked up this series called Wolfpack. It's starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, Bella Shepherd, Amani Jackson, Chloe
Is this
Rose
a relatively
Roberts.
new one?
Yeah.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, so this is basically... I'll read you the little synopsis I got here because I can't really say it any better. So, two teenagers who are caught in a wildfire and are wounded by a supernatural creature. In the aftermath, they discover they're werewolves and develop an intense bond together. So I won't say any more. But yeah, that should give you enough of the background. And as you know, I'm fully into my fantasy and the stuff like that, and this is just right up my alley. And I remember watching Sarah Michelle Gellar as like Buffy, and I love that, and I think she's a pretty good, great actress. So I always enjoyed watching her. So yeah, this is right up my alley. We're absolutely loving it, and so that is really good so far. Haven't really got any criticisms in it so far, so yeah, that's definitely one to pick up. But that's not all. I have one more. So I picked up Lockwood and Co. and this is another 2023 detective fiction on Netflix, and it's supernatural fiction. Basically, it's so picture London now, right? But it's had kind of like an apocalyptic event where ghosts are like roaming free, and at one slight touch of a ghost and you die. So everybody has like this, but they don't like sunlight, and everybody has a curfew, and so everyone has to be in by, I think it's like 8 o'clock or something like that. I can't quite remember, but the time isn't the important thing. The kids, I think up to sort of late teens, are able to. They have they can develop abilities and they can see them. So they've all of a sudden, like, all these detective agencies have popped up all across London to tackle the ghosts and destroy them and make, London safe. And Lockwood and Co. is probably one of the youngest and newest detective agencies, and that's where you join the series.
So it's kind of funny. I thought this sounded familiar, and Jason was. I had breakfast with Jason on Sunday, and it was either this time or the month before when we had breakfast. He was telling me about this as well.
Okay, yeah,
he was quite into it.
It's a book series as well. So,
yes.
So you can pick up the book series as well. I didn't know it was the book series, and until I think I'd watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I was like, I'm going to actually research this. Where have they got this from? And yeah, it's actually a book series. So I might actually buy the book series as well, because I'm really into it. Really, really good. A lot of fun. Like everything with like the sort of fantasy realm, it's, you got to take it as fun and a huge leap from reality, and that's what I like about it. It's so this is basically modern London, but ghosts are roaming about. It's great.
Just looking at the Wikipedia, it's like it was slightly uplifting and then slightly annoying, as it says. Joe Cornish chose to include series songs relying on post-punk music from the repertoire of Bauhaus, The Cure, Susie and the Banshees, and This Mortal Coil. That's fucking goth! Fucking post-punk. Yeah. Fuck off. Why he's denying us goths. Bastards.
Yeah. Yeah, there's...
But anyway, I'm sure it's got an absolutely fucking banging soundtrack anyway.
Oh, it does, and it's very, it's kind of a bit, the whole thing's a bit gothy, really, to be honest, just because it's like this major event's happened, and like everything's basically gone to crap. It's almost a bit steampunky in places as well, and it's just, it's very dark, and you get all these different abilities that these kids have developed. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why these ghosts are roaming free and all this stuff is happening. And they're just trying to fight it as best as they can at the minute. And it's basically loads of different hauntings. So but we're working our way through that as well. It's absolutely fantastic. If you are into...
It's always nice to see Joe Cornish's name attached to anything.
Yeah.
That guy's incredibly talented. Considering, as I'm sure you did, we discovered his immense talent from him and his mate, Adam Buxton, making stupid videos very, very late night on Channel 4 and slowly taking over what was essentially like YouTube a decade before YouTube. And what they've each become now, it's mind-blowing.
Oh, God, yeah. And it's... I love when they turn a great book series into a TV series and make it work. Because there's nothing better than that. Because I've been looking into the book series and everyone says it's really good. And, so yeah, the fact this is really good as well. Just I love that. I love when they do that. So yeah, I hope and I pray Netflix carry it on because they're starting to get a bit of a name for themselves for cancelling series that they start. There's quite a fair few now that are sort of like 1 seasons in and then nothing more. So yeah,
I do think that is as much as anything I can't think of the word, a perception issue rather than actually that's something that is now a big problem. I do think a large part of this, when Netflix was riding high, and could do no long until several years ago, basically until Disney launched, like, for the most part, anyone complaining about a show cancelled after 1 season, for the most part, were just kind of dismissed. And it's one of those things. It's like a weird winning team thing. Disney launched theirs, and almost immediately, like, public perception turned from Netflix as, like, despite innovating and being the reason we got a Disney Plus, oh, well, we've got the Disney one now. Like, we don't need Netflix. Netflix can fuck off. And like its whole public perception shifted, which has been really fun but really depressing to watch because it is literally you're just watching. It is the cornerstone of brainwashing. It is the cornerstone of what our entire media is structured around. It's how our news is structured. It's how social media sites and all these things are structured. They're all kind of structured to funnel your mind in a direction, and it's always really interesting to watch like this huge swath of public opinion going this one particular way because they see other people looking like talking about things in a particular way, and what is as true then as it was now but wasn't considered a problem is now what is associated with Netflix. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely insane.
I mean, I do get why they cancel certain series because, like, if it's not pulling in the figures and they're not earning the money from it, then they're going to cancel it.
Their policy is the same now as it's always been. If no one is watching it and or it's not massively critically acclaimed, it's going. We are basically a site that has to make money. That's what they've always done. I do believe now it's perhaps more apparent to some people because what Netflix was originally filled with was Disney stuff and Warner Brothers stuff and Paramount stuff, which has all been siphoned off into their own little fiefdoms now, which will ultimately cause the collapse of the streaming industry as we currently know it.
Yeah,
we're already starting to see them fall, but yeah, we'll get to that when it happens. In the meantime, enjoy your Disney Plus and enjoy your Netflix and stuff like that. And I'll continue to enjoy my torrenting because, I'd stopped. I'd stopped when Netflix had everything, and I paid for Netflix. And now that I'd need 4 streaming services to watch all the things I want to watch, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I want to watch. I'm not getting up on my soapbox, but maybe we should do a special. Sean's views on quote-unquote piracy. We'll do an hour-long special at some point. Maybe we'll pirate a game and do it. I'm joking.
Yeah, of
not
course.
about the piracy.
We would never do piracy.
We'll
never do that.
Don't pay fucking Amazon and Disney and Netflix and Paramount. Just fucking get back to torrenting, people. You need it all in one service. That's why it worked. No fucking ads either.
Perhaps we'll put allegedly just above it, just so we don't get in trouble.
I actually pay for, funnily enough, I do pay for one streaming service, technically. I pay, it's like £6 a month for AW on Fight TV, which I don't watch. It shares all their shows on Fight TV, but I pirate them because it's more convenient. I can't use Fight on my phone.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll normally watch AEW in my lunch break. But I pay for it, so they're still getting something. And I pay for their pay-per-views, and we do watch that around my friends on his big telly and that. So I do pay for a streaming service or a particular show on it.
Legit all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I want AEW to succeed.
Exactly. But yeah, that is everything I've been watching. What about you, dude?
What have I been watching? Piracy to the rescue again, I guess. Netflix finally put season 2 of Demon Slayer up, which I was very, very excited for. And that takes the first... it takes the arc covered by the movie, Mugen Train, and expands that, adding new material, adding a whole new start episode, over 8 episodes, I think it was. But Netflix stopped there. And there's a whole... that was only the first third of season 2. Okay. There's another 2/3 to it. And the second movie, which is coming out next week. So... this week? Yeah, this week, as when this is released.
Yeah.
That takes place. That is the last 2 episodes of season 2 and the start of season 3. So there's no... with Netflix or whatever, because I have my dad's Netflix password. That's why I watched it on there. Yeah, that's the way I could have watched that. So I've just got the rest of that. I've been watching the Entertainment District arc. That's wonderful. All of Demon Slayer is wonderful. So I can go watch the movie next week, which I'm very, very much looking forward to. So yeah, that's the main thing I've been watching. I can't remember if... I don't think at Christmas I'd had this, which we'll get to in a bit, but I bought Garth Marenghi's Terror Tome, which is a comedy horror novel written... Right, so Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, and this is the thing I watched all of. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place was a show from the early 2000s about a show that was allegedly made in the 80s to try to sell to Channel 4, but they didn't buy it, so it was aired in Peru. That they've now found, and they're now showing for the first time. So they made a show to look like it was an old 80s show, and it's by a fictional writer who is a parody of Stephen King, but like a really terrible Stephen King. A Stephen King who's a bad writer.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about you speaking about this before.
It's unbelievable. So I watched all of that because I was meant to be going to see his live show a couple of weeks ago, but he's been ill, I believe, so it's been put back to March. So I thought, sod it, I'll watch the show. So I watched all of that as well, and that's just as good as I remember it. It's there's so many layers to that show. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it launched the career of Richard Ayoade. So, he co-created and co-wrote it and everything. They used to do stage shows of it, so it's wonderful. But yeah, I don't watch a tremendous amount of TV, so I've been doing that. I've been watching season 2 of Ghost in the Shell, SAC 2045, I think it is, the CGI Netflix one. That's pretty good. Again, not too much to write home up about. Oh, I was mentioning wrestling. I should definitely give a shout out to New Japan's Battle in the Valley from last Saturday. That was the in-ring debut of Mercedes Moné formerly known as Sasha Banks. So I wanted to watch that, and fucking hell, that was. I put that on Sunday afternoon. I'd already watched Elimination Chamber with my mate, which was broadly fine. And I come home and I'm just like, I do have this New Japan one, and now I've watched some of WWE's kind of version of wrestling. I would now like to watch some really good proper wrestling. I put that on and I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll have a look at the first match and I'll kind of skip anything I'm not interested in, because there was the Jay White versus Eddie Kingston loser leaves New Japan match, which was gonna be, I think it was a foregone conclusion, but that was gonna be great. Okada versus Tanahashi was always going to be great. So there's a few good matches on the card. I'm like, oh, I'll sit and watch it and I'll flip through it and I'll get to the bits I want to do. And I just sat there for 4 hours going, fuck, this is some awesome goddamn wrestling. I'm just having the absolute... Oh my God, he landed on his face! Oh my God, I'm having the best time. No, don't use the ladder like that. That's incredibly painful. Like, as just having an absolutely wonderful card. It was... It's a hell of a card. It's got a bit of everything on there. You know, it's got your multi-mans, it's got your one-on-ones, it's got blood feuds, it's got pride matches, it's got title matches, it's got a loser leaves the company match, it's got technical wrestling, it's got hardcore wrestling, it's got, like, there is something for any kind of wrestling fan on there. Right down to, you know, if you like your WWE bit where someone comes in and cuts a big promo on the mic, that was at the end, and someone else tried to do it, and then they had a big angle of them being betrayed and stuff. There was just something for everything. I cannot... like, it was better. I enjoyed that show more than I enjoyed their Wrestle Kingdom this year. It was a bit shorter, a bit tighter, but I just think the overall quality was absolutely incredible of that pay-per-view, and yeah, everyone should seek that out. I hope to be saying the same again next month, as we're only a week and a half away from AEW's first pay-per-view of the year. Oh, yes, please. Looking most forward to that. Revolution it will be. But no,
okay.
other than that, mostly I've been watching a lot of movies. There's been... So... Cineworld have been really irritating so far this year. That almost everything me and my buddy have wanted to see has been on at 8 o'clock. Well,
okay.
I don't live in the same town as my mate anymore. So basically the option is we go watch 2 films, something to kill the time, and then the thing we want to see at 8 o'clock, or we don't go. And on every occasion, we've chosen to see 2 films. So Thursday nights have gone from getting home about 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish for him, and I get home half hour late because I have to drop him off, to now I'm getting in at like 11, half 11, which is my usual bedtime, and I'm dead on a Friday. But I'll give you a list of the things I've watched. But... honestly, most of it has not been particularly impressive. I've not seen... Okay. I don't think we've seen anything bad yet, but we've not seen... but we've only seen one thing that was great and one thing that had something great about it. So, we saw A Man Called Otto, which was a Tom Hanks vehicle, Oscar baity thing about an old man who is quite fastidious and grumpy, and he lives in a street and he just wants to be... locked away alone, and he comes to find a new lease on life due to the love and unending patience of his new neighbours. That was okay. I quite enjoyed it. You know what you're getting.
I've heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah, you know what you're getting with a Tom Hanks movie. He's very, very good. The thing is, it had a slight problem, which is... you're supposed to suspend disbelief. So, like, this was a 15, because there's a couple of bits where he's trying to commit suicide, which are always played for comedy effect, which I guess is a way to go about it. But, the movie had no stakes. Because the problem with it is, right, as much as you want to dislike Tom Hanks' character and think he's being an asshole. It's Tom Hanks. You know he's lovely and not an asshole, and you want to give him a cuddle. And there wasn't really enough in his performance to make you think anything other than by the end he was going to turn around and be charmed and brought out of his shell by these other people, and so on. But he did get a cat, and that was wonderful. We then saw the best thing we've seen so far this year was Till. That was a biopic of the murder of a real life murder of a young man in the from Chicago who went to South America to visit relatives. That was a really strong piece of work. Like when from the point that the mother gets the news, Mamie gets the news, and you're seeing her identifying the body, and you're seeing her having to relate it to all of the people she loves, and then she's trying to show the body. Like, all of this stuff was... what's the best way of putting it? They showed you the really, really ugly side of grief. You saw all of these characters mourning and crying and distraught, and how it affected them and all stuff like that. So when she goes down to try and get justice, that's obviously never going to happen. Like, I was physically shaking with anger watching a movie. You know, it's it's absolutely a fantastic piece of work that I can't recommend highly enough to watch once, but you'll likely like. It's so raw and so emotional. You may not want to watch it again, but it is definitely worth watching once. It like the performances in particular are absolutely freaking incredible. Yeah, really, really great. And it does that thing. You know, a lot of stories based on movies based on true stories brings up a little bit of text at the end telling you about things. The very last one is a monstrous gut punch that reminds you how backwards America still is in many ways. It's remarkable, really fantastic, moving piece of cinema. Which we then followed with M3gan, which was that stupid thing with the talking evil doll. You seen that? The advert for that?
No, what was that?
Oh, it's by those guys who always make all the terrible horror movies, like The Purge. The ones that look like they're going to be fun, but are actually just really stupid and boring. So yeah, this was actually a lot of fun. I did enjoy it very much. But yeah, little girl's parents die in a car wreck, and she's sent with her to live with her aunt, who is terrible. She's not terrible. She's got her life and she's got her loves, and she's probably a bit neurodivergent, and she cannot connect with this kid. So what she decides to do, she's been working on, as you do, the new biggest toy in the world, which is a literal cyborg little girl with its own AI that can just be any child's best friend, right? It learns from the web. All this kind of nonsense. Silly, silly, silly. Doll starts murdering everyone. There's not as much killing as I was hoping for. It doesn't go on a full-on rampage, but it was just ridiculous. By the end, they're doing Terminator references. Oh, it was an absolute blast. I would definitely say watch M3gan if you want to see a really stupid movie that ends up with a murderous doll. If that doesn't sound like fun to you, there is nothing in this movie for you. If you listen to that and want to go watch something quite serious, not the movie for you. If you're thinking, I might be a bit like Child's Play, possibly a little dumber because there's no real motivation for the murder doll, bing! Go watch this movie. It's an absolute blast. And we watched that because we wanted to see the movie of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, which is we like to go watch anime movies. That is high fantasy, swords and sorcery. They all live in these cutesy little kingdoms, and they have to fight for the realm, and there are all these diverse massive cast of characters who are all quirky, and they've all got their own little bits here and there. That was super fun, really, really beautiful to watch. Because part of the reason we still go to this is they still do hand animation in Japan. And that's what me and my friend grew up on. That's what we love. You just don't get a lot of it in American movies anymore. They've moved fully to CGI, and I'm not a big fan of. I think the peak of it is to say Wreck-It Ralph. I think that is the baseline of what most of those things look like, and I don't think that looks appealing. I think it looks like a kid's cartoon, and I don't think they look very imaginative. It's so strange because without having to worry about brush and pen and paper and everything, like you'd think these things would get more imaginative, but they've got less. Like they all look the same. There's a huge asterisk by that because we're going to come to something soon. But we do seem to be turning a corner on that. But yeah, so we went to see that. We went to see Babylon, which certainly is 3 hours long. God. I'd not heard good things about it before it came. No, it is not. Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, and a couple others are in this. It's this big 3 hour, love fest to old Hollywood and the debauchery therein at the time we're turning towards talkies and all stuff like that. And the first 2 hours, to be fair, were pretty funny, which I didn't expect. But the last hour is a slog. And, it's not... It's a 3 hour movie that doesn't feel like it has anything to say. It doesn't feel like it has any point to make. There's supposed to be 5 main characters. On the posters, there's 5 main characters. Well, there's only actually 3 main characters, and only one of them gets a full story arc, and it's not the one that the film spends the most time following. He doesn't get a complete story arc, but it's just not a very well structured or written film, and that seems to be one of the things that takes me most in movies. I can sit and watch I Got Reincarnated as Slime, which is just stupid, wacky fantasy nonsense. But it's not going for much deeper than what it is. And even then, there's tiny bits of character here and there that give a richer experience than the entire 3 hours of Babylon, which by and large was all stuff I'd seen before. It felt kind of like someone watched... Do you remember The Artist? That wonderful black and white silent movie they released about the thing. Yeah. It was kind of like someone watched that and took all the wrong meaning and messages from it and went, I want to do the other side of it. Not good. I then saw the stupidest movie I've seen so far this year. This was again waiting for something else to come on. I saw Plane. It is a movie. This is the level we're working with. It's a movie that, by and large, takes place on or because of a plane, and the title is Plane. Gerard Butler and Mike Coulter are on a plane. Mike Coulter is a convicted criminal. He murdered a man. And they go on this plane. It flies through a storm. And it essentially lands on a lost island, It just happens to be inhabited by all of these, these separatist killers with their own little fiefdom, and like the mainland can't contact it or get there, and all this nonsense, right? And this is a movie, I swear to God, this is amazing. Me and my mate are sitting there open-jawed because, like, so the start is you're introduced to Gerard Butler. He's the pilot. His entire motivation is the plane is my responsibility, right? And they introduce Mike Coulter and they bring him on, and it's so like this is basically they're just kind of doing Con Air at this point, you know. It's like just this stupid thing, and then they slowly build the tension that Mike Coulter's character is this really scary guy, and Gerard Butler's going to have to trust him at some point, and they're going to go off together. And they kind of deal with that in under 5 minutes. And then Mike Coulter's character is by and large forgotten about. He's the interesting thing you have! Why are we following Gerard Butler's pilot? What? It was an utterly inept action movie that I had a really fun time with because it was so... I can understand trying to subvert expectations of the genre, but if you're going to do that, you need to do it well. And this did not do it well at all. It was really stupid, but I can't lie and say I didn't have a good time. And I'm amazed that they're having a sequel, and thus far it is to be called Boat, and I'm so happy. So, we were doing that to go see another anime movie, which was called Sword Art Progressive Scherzo of Deep Night. And I had to look up the word Scherzo, because I didn't know what it was, and it's a musical term. And then I came in the other day, right, and Pointless was on, and I got a pointless answer, because I had to look up the title of this movie and what it meant.
I was going to say that title 3 times fast.
Yeah. So I had to do some homework for that. And watch the first movie in the series, because that was the second. And it's, again, high fantasy, but it's about some people who go into the new massive online multiplayer online game. And they've all got, like, the 3D headsets. But, oh no, the person who made the game actually has put bombs in the headsets. So if you die in the game, you die in real life. And now they have to go and actually live in this fantasy world until they can complete the video game. And so I watched the first movie, and then I looked up about the series, because the first movie is about 2 girls, and they go into the game together and they have a bit of a falling out, but it's a bit of a misunderstanding and everything like that, and it's about them slowly kind of coming back together and all this stuff. And one of the girls meets this guy who helps her a bit, and then so the end is supposed to be them coming back together, but the end kind of comes with the girl who was left behind and was helped by this boy character going off together. So that's a bit of a weird ending, but I guess if it's a series, they don't want to get the 2 main characters back together straight away. So I looked up about this series, and the second main character, the other girl, is not a thing.
Oh.
The boy who appeared and I thought was destined to be revealed as the big bad guy is the main character in this franchise. And they've just done such an utterly inept job of telling their story that, no, it's not even that. They were telling a completely different story to the story they thought they were telling. And the character they thought they were building up to be the coolest, most awesome main character, they had set up as the villain. So then we went and watched the second movie, and to be fair, the first half does a better job of setting up the actual main characters going forward, but then it brings back that other character from the first one, and that resolves all the stuff from the first movie. So effectively spent 2 movies setting up this huge story and this huge second character who's not going to be anything going forward. It's a genuinely baffling way to go about trying to set up a franchise. And I get it. This is from a series of books, so it's been an anime before. But I think it leans so heavily on you knowing the material beforehand that I think everyone who worked on and adapted it knew the story beforehand, so didn't realise they were writing something entirely other to what they thought they were writing. It's really, really funny. And lastly, we saw 2 very good movies last week. Ooh. We saw, really unexpectedly, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is legitimately excellent. Like, I really liked the first Puss in Boots movie. I thought that was good, but we only saw this because we wanted to see the movie that follows, right?
Yeah.
And neither of us give a shit. And you go into... This is a Shrek spin-off, so you go in with an expectation, and this utterly shattered it. Because this movie isn't a kid's movie, or not in the way that you would think when you think it's a Shrek movie or you think it's a Despicable Me. This, for the most part, didn't have those jokes. It didn't even have those setups. Right. This was a much, much darker film, and a lot of its humor was situational. And I'm not gonna lie, an awful lot of this humor was stuff like them swearing in a way that would go over kids' heads. And like saying kill and murder and describing the horrible things they have done and are going to do to people and all stuff like that. Like, a lot of the humor went over the kids to the point that, like, for the most part, me and my mate were pissing ourselves, and most of the kids weren't laughing through the entire movie. But when we came out, the kids were really talking about the actual depth of the movie, the themes of family, but the main theme of it. And I get why they couldn't call this. This should have been called The Last Life, because it's Puss in Boots. Cats have 9 lives in this universe.
Yeah.
He dies, and he then realizes in a hilarious montage where you actually see him die another 7 times. He realizes he's on his last life. And he kind of falls into a bit of a... He's kind of teetering on the edge of a bit of a mental wobble. And then this bounty hunter finds him and almost kills him, and he has to run away. And the entire rest of the movie is about him being terrified of death. And everything that comes from his character and everything his character does is justifiably based on the fact that this bounty hunter is coming for him, and this bounty hunter is going to kill him, and he's terrified of death. And I can't remember the last time I saw a kids movie with such an adult theme as its main core story driver.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a kids movie. There's still a lot of humor and stuff in it. But this is really, really a great, great movie to show kids about the idea of mortality and how it can paralyze you and how it can make you small and selfish and stuff like that. It's really, really great. I mean, they play a little too long on not allowing... So, obviously, Puss has got a couple of companions, because otherwise he'd be talking to himself the whole time.
Yeah.
I think it still would have worked as well if they'd have seen this bounty hunter earlier as well. Because they do play a bit of it of they don't believe that this person's actually after him. But yeah, no, it's really, really good. And there's some really, really dark imagery in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was really impressed. And also, very much taking a leap out of. Thank you, Spider-Verse. Thank you so much for saving American CGI animated movies, because this took a style from Spider-Verse. So when it was still, I don't think this film looked very good. I think it looked quite bland. But when it moved, it almost looked like claymation, like a stop-start thing. But also the way they muted and kind of matted a lot of the colours, it looked like claymation, but on a bright kind of background and stuff. Like, it looked absolutely stunning when it was in motion, and it is in motion quite a lot, because there's quite I wouldn't say it's all adventure, it's not all action, but even when there's not action, there's quite a lot moving and doing stuff. So yeah, really, really cool movie. Really, really impressed with that.
Nice.
And lastly, but not leastly, the one I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time, went to see The Whale, which you may have heard about. It's the Brendan Fraser one, where he's in the big prosthetic fat suit and everything. And this was, I really liked the movie. I don't think, I really liked it. I don't think it quite, that's the best way of putting it. I didn't think it was excellent because I felt a couple of its plot threads just that took up a bit of time kind of meandered and didn't have much of a point. Like, it goes in on religion quite hard, but I don't think it ever really makes a point about it. Like, it kind of shows the characters to be hypocritical, but like, we know that right from the off because we're told that right from the start. So anything we get after that kind of reaffirms it. But the bulk of the movie is Brendan Fraser and his friend who's caring for him, and the daughter he's trying to reconnect with, and all three of them, and everything to do with them interacting is fucking perfect. But Brendan's performance really is worthy of all of the praise it has got.
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah. I've rarely seen something. I described it to other friends. It's beyond excellent acting. I'll always say pretty much everything you watch has excellent acting. Marvel movies have excellent acting. This is a step beyond. Like, I felt like I was in the room with this person. Like, he was actually in front of me. Which is so rare. I think I said the last time I probably felt like that was watching The Father with Anthony Hopkins last year. Like, it's like watching someone on stage. You know that kind of performance is different and is so much more intimate and personal than what you get on big screen acting. Brendan Fraser was absolutely incredible. I cried through like half of this movie. Like, whenever he tried to move, or like when he was walking and stuff, just absolutely broke my damn heart. It was incredible. And a part of that is my knowledge of Brendan Fraser's story. He had a really hard time with it for a very, very long time. And seeing him putting on this kind of performance, I mean, he must have been channeling something from that, because Jesus Christ. Like, as a film, it's very good. It's not, I still haven't seen that 10 out of 10 film yet this year, but as a performance, that is one of the best things I've seen in a year. It's absolutely astounding. And the other two who were with him, I didn't know the adult woman so well. The Gary Place's daughter is actually one of the girls from Stranger Things, who, funnily enough, like, that was the show enough. That did also have me in tears. Like, it's the running up that hill girl. Like, that whole scene where you're like, oh my God, please, please, just please. You know, she was excellent as well. So, yeah, definitely go see The Whale.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, very, very good. But definitely also go see Puss in Boots.
Oh, yeah. Look, my kids really want to see that one. So
It is excellent. It's genuinely an excellent film. Am I going to see next week? Oh, I'm going to see Quantum Mania, the new Ant-Man next week. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantum Mania.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one, actually. I quite like the Ant-Man.
I think the Ant-Man films, especially the second one, are among the weakest of the Marvel movies. And I love Paul
absolutely.
Rudd,
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I actually do think the last Ant-Man movie is the worst. But there's a lot of bollocks, comic book bollocks, I love in this, right? Mini-universe, yes. Kang, I'm not going to spoil everything that Kang is, because they've not shown that in the movies yet. But I love Kang, and I love everything about Kang. So that's a massive fucking tick for me. And, the cast of... For all their faults as movies, I love Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Evangeline Lilly. They're all great on-screen presence. This has got Bill Goddamn Murray in it.
Exactly. It's just fun. It's just huge fun film. And,
it's also got a version of MODOK, and MODOK is very silly. I'm hoping that's not the reason that excellent show was cancelled. There was a TV show of MODOK. It's like Robot Chicken. It was like toy animated thing with really funny dude whose name escapes me at the moment. No, I don't think it's going to come, but yeah, that MODOK show was awesome. I really hoped that got a second season, but alas, it didn't. But I'll be happy to see thing. Also, I'm pretty sure that's Rom the Space Knight in the trailer, and Rom the Space Knight has a more interesting history in comics than any comic he's ever actually been in. But if they've sorted out those rights and everything, that's pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna go see that next week. That'll be fun.
Yeah, no, that'll be awesome.
And that's everything I've been watching.
That was a fair list.
It was, yeah. I've seen a lot of films so far. Thankfully, the Cineworld app just lists them all, so I could just look at them all and go through. Have you been up to much since Christmas?
Not really. I mean, just trying to push the house sale over the line, and went to like a couple of zoos, and actually went to this zoo in I suppose it'd come under Epping, I guess Epping, Essex. It's basically like a little rescue zoo. It's not very big. In fact, you could probably walk around it in like an hour, if that. But so we went to see that. The kids loved it, and the best thing about it was, so my youngest watches Lion Guard, so it's the spin-off from Lion King. It's so it's the son basically, and who's the king, and like his son is this Lion Guard, and in it there's an animal called Mama Binturong. Now, when I first heard that, like, I'm not ashamed to say, I thought that was a made up animal. I really thought that was a made up animal. I was like, I have no idea what that is. If it's real, I've never heard of it. Like, never thought I'd even see one. Go to this little rescue zoo. They've got a binturong right in the centre. And my son was like, Mama Binturong. So yeah, that was probably the best thing about it. It was really really cool. Oh, and then there was an outbreak of crickets. So they use obviously crickets to feed the lizards and snakes and stuff like that, and a load of them escaped for freedom. So they were like bouncing about the place. It was quite funny, just watching them trying to collect them all up and put them all back in. But yeah, no, that was just good family fun. And, yeah, but other than that, not a lot really. Just trying to get, to say, back into the swing of things, and yeah, my work has been pretty slow this year so far. Normally for my work, my main work is it's quite slow normally. I won't go into details, but I work in the building trade, and normally January is slow. But for the past 6 years, it's been absolutely booming. And January, I've been like sort of swept off my feet type thing. But this year, it's kind of gone back to normal, so it's been a very, very slow start to the year, and just building back up, really. Other than that, not a lot. What about you, dude?
Yeah, not as much as I hoped so far, because my the Dark Marenghi thing got put back a month. But I did see Editors Live in January, which was fucking awesome. Doing vast amount of their new album, which is incredible live. Weird crowd. Like, it was one of those things where, like, they come on, the room's packed.
Yeah.
They're not a small, I don't think they're a small band. They're a name. So the room's packed. And, like, they start in with a new song. It's the single, it's Heart Attack. It's the single off the new album. No noise, no movement. Like, what the fuck is happening? Because I intend to dance around like a maniac and sing quite loud, and I cannot do that right now. I'm having a bop, but let's get on with this. And I went on for the first several songs, and I'm like,
Oh,
what is happening? And I quickly came to realize over a little while, this crowd does not know the new album. In fact, this crowd knows the first two albums and the singles. So, like, they finally managed to get the crowd into the newer stuff by the end of the set. And they did play a good chunk of the new album, which is all great material. But yeah, I don't know. I've not been in a crowd like it. Or if I have, it's an anomaly. I don't necessarily remember it. So yeah, it was really, really weird to kind of have to utterly restrain myself. And I'm not going mental, I'm just having a bit of a jig and everything and having a bit of a sing. But yeah, I had to really restrain myself for the first like chunk of the set until people started getting into it. And then like by the end, everyone was like going absolutely crazy. They'd played a load of the hits and stuff like that, and like they were in it enough that they were then just catching the beat of the songs they didn't know and going along with that. So it was quite cool. But yeah, very odd. But the band themselves are absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I've seen them live since the third album.
Okay.
And this is their 7th or 8th. So I've not seen them live in like a decade anyway. So it was really, really great to catch up with them again. Yeah, cool. That was absolutely fantastic. And just on a little personal note, I have now... so I've been playing around with learning Japanese for quite a while actually.
Yes,
I did a year-long course, evening course with a college, and I went from there to I'd got the books. I went to From Zero, or Japanese From Zero. I signed up to you can do the courses, which are also the books, on their website, and I've just completed the first course of that. So
nice.
Yeah, quite proud of that. It's been a tremendous amount of work on my part, but I'm slowly getting there. It is getting to the point now when I'm watching my anime and it's like, I knew their sins. I know what that means. I don't have to read that bit, and it's very, very exciting. Considering, like, and you can. My reading is still not particularly quick, but if something's on screen for a little while, I can read it. And if it's a word I know, that gives me a little buzz. Or if it's anything in katakana, because that's quite often English words, I can translate and figure that out, which is pretty cool. So I've been very much enjoying that anyway. But yeah, that's a nice little achievement. There are 5 books in this course, so the first one is very much the absolute basics. But yeah, going from there, yeah, quite proud of that. All the work I've put in. So
well done, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't really think of much of anything else that I've been up to or done. I've yeah, like I said, I read that Teratome book. I then got I had a free trial with Amazon, so I got the audio book of it. Because he speaks in quite a specific way, which is pretty funny. So you kind of go through the book, you read it in your head, but to actually hear him do it, I prefer to read it before I listen to the audio book. But actually hearing him perform it as well is wonderful. So yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. I was wondering if I'd been reading any manga, but I think by the last time we spoke, I'd finished or at least gushed enough about Chainsaw Man. That's fucking awesome. Need to wait till later this year for the first part of the second phase, or the second, whatever you want to call it, of those books.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, well, shall we draw this to a close?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Perfect. Okay, so we need a word for the good people to hit us up with if they have in fact listened to this entire thing.
I think it needs to be, if they've been listening, they'll get a huge sense of nostalgia. So I think that should be the word.
Okay, cool. So if they've not been listening this far, if they're dirty, dirty liars, what do you think we should put in there?
And they've skipped towards the end. I don't know. Maybe something like.
I tell you what. Let's go with Strawberry Lemonade. It's name of a song off the new Edison's album.
Oh, there you go. That's
very, very good one.
Strawberry Lemonade.
All right. That's enough. So goodbye from me. Goodbye from Adam.
See ya.
Ta-da.